In this lesson, we will learn about terminology and types of angles used in trigonometry. Let's get started with the first term, which is called angles in standard position. An angle is said to be in standard position if it originates from origin, and number two, its initial side is on positive x-axis. If these two conditions are being observed in drawing an angle, then that angle will be called angle drawn in standard position. So let's take a look at this angle here, which is OA is the terminal arm and OX is the initial arm or initial side. As initial side coincides with the positive x-axis and it originates from the origin of x-axis and y-axis, this being y-axis and this is x-axis, then this angle, whatever that angle is called angle in standard position. Let's call this angle theta. So this is angle in standard position. Angle in standard position. Standard position. So it doesn't matter how big or how small is the angle, whether that angle is being drawn is positive angle or negative angle, as long as its initial side is on x-axis and this initial side originates from the origin of x-axis and y-axis, any angle will be called an angle drawn in standard position. And next is the coterminal angle. Any two angles are said to be coterminal if both are drawn in standard position and their terminal arms are in the same location. For example, if there is any angle, let's say that this is the angle. This is the acute angle, any angle which is has a value less than 90 degree is called acute angle, which we are going to define later. Let's say that this angle theta is equal to 30 degree. And obviously both conditions for this angle to be an angle drawn in standard positions are being observed, because this terminal side as well as initial side both are originating from origin of x-axis and y-axis, and the initial side is on positive x-axis as well, these being x-axis and this being y-axis. So this is an angle drawn in standard position. But imagine if we were to take a full round, and then come back to this same position where this terminal ray OA is. Now what will be the angle? 30 was already the principal angle. So theta is equal to 30 degree is principal angle, Any angle between 0 and 360 degree is called a principal angle. Now if we add 360 degree to this, now 30 degree, theta is equal to 30 degree plus 360 degree. Whether you add 360 degree, even then we are going to end up at the same terminal arm. So now theta is equal to 30 plus 360 degree is coterminal of 30 degree, is coterminal. And if we would have subtracted 360, we would end up still at the same place. So theta is equal to 30 minus 360, that still is Coterminal, because the terminal arm will be still in the same position, is coterminal. Coterminal. So for any given principal angle, I mean the angle between 0 and 360 degree, if you add 360 degree or you add multiple of 360 degree, that angle is going to be exactly on the same location where originally that principal angle was, and hence is called coterminal. Or if you continue to subtract 360 degree, the final location of the angle is still going to be the same position as it was for the principal angle. So therefore, adding or subtracting any integral multiple of 360 degree does not affect the location of the principal angle, and hence is called coterminal angle of whatever given principal angle is. We will do a couple of more questions later, but for now this is what we understand about coterminal angles. Principal angle. Any angle, like I said before, between 0 and 360 degree is called principal angle. Reference angle. Reference angle is an angle closest to x-axis without taking into consideration positive or negative sign. Whatever the closest arm of x-axis is, just the amount of angle with the closest x-axis, whether it's positive x-axis or it's negative x-axis, the closest angle made by terminal arm with any side of x-axis is called reference angle. So we can define it: the smallest angle made between terminal angle and this should be called terminal arm, and x-axis is called reference angle. So let me change this to arm. So this is. So let's assume that here it was y-axis and this was x-axis, and this is where is the principal angle. Like if you draw the angle from here to here, now which part of x-axis? This is positive x-axis and this is negative x-axis called x dash. Which one is closest? Closest is this one. So measure this angle. If principal angle was 330 degree, then what would be the angle? This one, this would be 30 degree. So this angle 30 degree would be the reference angle. Therefore, I hope you understand. Similarly, let's take another example here. If this is y-axis, this is x-axis, and we have angle here, let it be the principal angle, then this angle, this side OA, is closer to the negative x-axis. Let's say that this angle is 140 degree. 140 degree is the principal angle for the terminal ray OA. Then what would be the reference angle? The reference angle would be this, which is 40 degree, because the closest x-axis are negative x-axis, and if we subtract 140 from 180, we get the reference angle. So wherever the angle is, just look at the closest arm of x-axis, whether it's positive or negative, without considering sign, positive or negative, just measure the angle, and that would be reference angle. Acute angle. Any angle between 0 and 90 degree is called acute angle. Right angle. Angle which is exactly 90 degree is called right angle. In fact, any integral multiple of right angle is called quadrantal angle, but that's okay if we don't know the definition. And next is obtuse angle. Any angle between 90 and 180. This is 180 degree is called obtuse angle. And straight angle, angle which is exactly 180 degree is called straight angle. And any angle between 180 and 360 is called the reflex angle. And complementary angles. So these are the types of angle, and now there are a couple of more terms which we will be frequently using while doing questions in trigonometry. Complementary angles. Two angles whose sum is equal to 90 degree are called complementary angles. For example, if given angle is 40 degree, then what would be its complementary angle? 50 degree, because 40 plus 50 is going to be 90. If you have a given angle 80 degree, then what would be its complementary angle? That would be 10 degree, because 10 degree when added to 80 degree is going to complete it for 90 degree. So that is the definition of two complementary angles. Supplementary angles. Two angles whose sum is equal to two angles are called supplementary. This should be supplementary angles. Two angles are called supplementary angles. So supplementary angles if their sum is 180 degree. And general solution. A formula which gives all coterminal angles of a given principal angle is called general solution. We have discussed earlier that if there is a given principal angle, if we continue to add 360 degree, if we are doing questions in degrees, and 2 pi if we are working in radian mode, then any integral multiple of 2 pi or 360 degree doesn't change the location of the terminal arm. Therefore, that is considered the same angle. And this formula, alpha plus n times 2 pi is one complete turn, which of course doesn't change the location of the terminal arm, and n stands for integral multiple, like 2 pi is one turn and when n is 1, and if n is 2, it means we had 2 turns. If n is 3, means we had 3 turns. If n is 4, then we had 4 turns. So n is really the number of turns we can turn, but every time we make a turn, we are going to end up in the same location. That's why addition of 2 pi or integral multiple of 2 pi doesn't change the location of terminal arm. Therefore, this is called the general solution, and it gives every possible coterminal angle, whether you add or subtract. And this second alpha plus minus n times 360 degree is exactly same thing, only if we are working in degree mode, then 2 pi can be replaced by 360.